Hello everybody, my name is Sori Faul, I am from Academia de Acer and I have the honor to have here our guest Jaap Hoekstra, which is the global CEO of Kilpatrick. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sori.
Jaap, tell us just a bit about your company. What are you doing?
It's a good question. I ended up in Italy roughly 20 years ago. And I worked 4 years on a project. And in 2002, the Dutch company asked me to come back to the Netherlands. And I can tell you that after 4 years of Italy, it's hard to even think about going back to the Netherlands.
Okay.
So we said, okay, so what's going to be our next step? And the next step was to become an entrepreneur. So we bought a company then called Kilpatrick, which had 4 employees, and their core business was executive search.
Okay.
So this is how it all started. And
20 years ago.
yeah, 2003.
Wow.
So that's now 16 years ago. Wow. And the big question mark in 2003 was, how can you set ourselves apart from all our competition? Within our business, it's very much about how many people you know, rather than how good you are.
Indeed.
So it's complicated, and we had to find a business model that was acceptable, not based on relationships. And so we did a market mapping, and we figured out that there was still a lot of space in the area of helping and assisting initially Italian companies outside of Italy. So this is how we started it. We started to improvise. We started to understand the market a little bit better. And in the end of 2003, we actually organized our first client event, which was about how to recruit people in China.
Wow. In China?
In China,
Okay.
exactly. So we had a couple of people over from China. One of our partners joined in from China. And we had an interesting discussion about how to recruit people in China. And after the meeting, right after the meeting, we signed up our first assignments to be executed in China. So this is how it all started rolling.
Wow. And what about today?
Well, fast forward.
Yes.
Today we have 3 companies.
Okay.
We grew a little bit over the last 15, 16 years. Kilpatrick Executive Search is now 16 offices spread out all over the world. Our most eastern office is in Singapore, thank you. And our most western office is in Juarez in Mexico. And we have a second company called Gemini Executive Search, which is a spin-off of Capgemini, which we bought 3 years ago in Germany. They actually occupy themselves of the German market, so Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And then the latest family member is called ADK, which is a very specialized niche recruiting specialist in the world of aviation, with 4 offices and focused exclusively on recruiting in the airline industry.
I understand. So tell us just a bit about the challenges you have in executive search. What are the challenges of this field?
Well, if you look at the demographics, we know that by 2020, which is 4 years from now, we're going to have a major gap of talent. And many countries already have it right now.
Romania is one of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just the quality, it's also the quantity of people that are available. And we've met companies that closed down because they just couldn't find the right people.
So true.
So this is 2020. In 2030, we're going to have more jobs than people to do them.
Wow.
Which, if you say it very quickly, there's not really an impact.
Yeah.
If you think about it, there's going to be more jobs than people to do it. Which doesn't mean there will not be people without jobs. I think there will be many people without jobs.
Because it's about talent. It's about
exactly.
Yes.
But the people that you and I want to hire are going to be very rare. So it's going to be a major battle. We would call it a buyer's market.
It is.
I think that the future employees within the next 10 to 15 years can take incredible advantage of this shortage of talent.
Indeed. And I think that's the reason you are having so much success, because companies are asking your help.
Absolutely.
In finding these people. So what are you doing to find the people? Because like you said, there are no people, or there are very hard to find.
It's complicated. It is complicated. It's a tough job. Most of the times, people approach us when they know that the talent is not available in their own backyard. So many times, we have to go to somebody else's backyard. That's more complicated. See, recruiting in your own backyard feels confident.
Yeah.
The moment you need to go into somebody else's backyard, it's a lot less confident, and that's where we come in. So many times our clients know that the talent they want to access to is not available in their own country, so we need to go to other countries. That's why we have such a global spread out to make sure that we tap into the right talent pools. And I can tell you that there is still a lot of talent available in more unlikely places. So when we talk to, let's say, our Western European clients, they always say, oh, why don't you go and recruit in Romania? They were like, Romania? Seriously? I mean, 15 years ago, yes, you were going to recruit in Romania. Today, Romania is and has a need to recruit outside of Romania to get the people in. So it doesn't make any sense to go and recruit in Romania. But there are other countries that still have good resources available for now. And strangely enough, they're not even that far away. Greece is not doing that well and has a fair amount of people available. Spain is not doing that well either and has a fair amount of people available.
You always have to look around and see what markets are moving and where in order to find the talent you need.
Yeah. Over the last 1.5 years, one of our major funds of talent comes from Turkey. Turkey is exceptionally rich with talent. It's a bit of a bridge between the subcontinent and Europe, and we can place them in the subcontinent. You know, those are people that really know how to deal with more complicated countries such as Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. But they also understand, let's say, the European needs because they are the bridge between these two countries.
Interesting.
Works out really smoothly.
How long does it take, as an average, to find a person like you are searching for? Like,
finding is the easy part. I mean, with social media, finding people is a lot easier than it used to be 15 years ago.
More difficult.
Yeah, we started off with the phone book 15 years ago.
Okay.
Today you have social media at your disposal, so easier to find people. The problem is that finding people
is not enough.
It's not enough. You gotta actually connect to people. Now, that is a lot more difficult.
Indeed.
Because on first sight, let's say you would have an average of 60 people that would actually match the job. In average, a recruiter gets about a 15% response rate. So he speaks to 9 people.
Exactly.
9 out of 60. And the question always is, so has he spoken to the most talented people or to the most available people? Well, I can tell you, it's the most available people, because those are the people that keep sending in their resumes all the time, okay? Yeah. The other 51, you know, they go just to the button, they just delete it within a nanosecond, because most of the talented people get between 10 and 15 invites.
Yes.
Every single month.
Every single month.
They don't really care about it. So you really want to do a good job, you got to go beyond sending out emails and use social media. You got to actually try to build a relationship. That's time.
Yeah, consuming, indeed. You have to
absolutely
build a bridge with that person. Has to be very personal, I think.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
Absolutely.
And these are people with values, and they know what they want.
And they are not interested in moving at all. Those are people that are pretty happy in the jobs where they are. They have great responsibilities, so it takes a long time to seduce people.
Yeah, about seducing people, what the kind of arguments you are using in terms of, making them to accept an offer? Because we are speaking about employment value proposition, for example. Many companies are devising very complex EVPs. Yep. Like, what are the tools and the benefits we are offering to somebody, to come to our company?
Sure.
Tell us something about this. What kind of benefits or unusual benefits you met in your career?
Well, first of all, what we like to discuss with our candidates is, we call it Plan B. Everybody is in his Plan A. Plan A is a job that you currently do. Okay? But we always remind our managers that, there's got to be a Plan B. Think about it. I know you're happy and very happy in your plan A, but what happens if plan A doesn't work out? You got to have a plan B. Plan B is what we want to discuss. Okay? So we're not talking about plan A, but plan B. Plan B, you may need it in 6 months from now, in 12 months from now, in 3 years from now, but one day you're probably going to need plan B. That's what we discuss with our candidate. And so building on that plan B, we can actually see if the candidate has a potential match with our client. And if our candidate does not have a potential match with our client, we don't even discuss the opportunity, because just throwing opportunities at people, it doesn't make any sense.
True.
Clients are, once in a while desperate. So one of our biggest tasks is also to sit down with the clients and go down and talk with them about their requirements. And that's a tough discussion. As much as it is tough to convince a candidate to initiate a discussion with our clients, even before that, we sit down with our clients and tell them, wow, your job description is 4.5 pages. Great.
So you are also assisting your clients,
absolutely,
in order to attract better candidates.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the thing what we need to do is distinguish between want-to-haves and need-to-haves. Yeah. And that's a tough discussion that we do with our clients, but we sit down with them, we come from the market, clients choose us because we have a certain seniority, but we also choose our clients. And we tell them very honestly, you cannot have more than 5 need-to-haves, because I can't work with 15 need-to-haves. You can only have 5 need-to-haves, and then you may have 2.5 pages of want-to-haves.
You have to compromise.
Nice to have. You have to compromise. And if we've got that settled, then the mission is possible. And if the mission is not possible, I mean, honestly, as a recruiter, as an executive search firm, we're not magicians. If you can't do it, we can't do it. So if the job is impossible to do, why should we accept it?
True.
I mean, we're having a 92% rate of success, and it's because the clients choose us, but we also choose our clients. And once in a while, we just walk away from it. Can't do it.
We have time, I think, for one more question. There is a certain profile, or there isn't, of the people you are looking for, like in terms of age, salary range, experience, or?
Well, our clients have very specific requirements. We don't really have that. And I think that what is important today is, not the most qualified person, but the most adaptable person. So able to adapt to the new situations. We have moved in currently to what we call a digital certification, because the digital transformation is becoming really important. And we've noticed that many of the top talented people, they are high performance in one company, and they move to a new company, and sometimes they fail. And it's because the digital challenge that we currently have is so high that, yes, he is a manager and he used to be managing 200 people. Now he's going to move to a new company and he'll still be managing 200 people, but the thing is that those 200 people are in 42 different countries, and you have to manage them remotely. Oh, and by the way, none of them reach the age of 30, so they're all millennials. That's a totally different ballgame. So the digital certification gives us a bit of an insight of whether this manager actually would qualify in a new organization where the digital disruption is a lot higher than it used to be with his previous company. So it's a very interesting world, and I think that by the time you think, now I've got it under control, you know for sure you're too late.
Yeah, I want to thank you very much for these insights, and let's see what happens in the future, because for certain the time is very interesting, and in 2020, who knows what.
We'll find out.
Jaap Hoekstra from Kirkpatrick and Sorin Vrouwen from Academia de HR.
What's the best from us?
See you.